College can be tiring. Burnout is a real issue in today's society, especially in college. While we may focus on burnout related to hobbies or work, many college students struggle with burnout. This can lead to anxiety and depression, and may even cause students to drop out or perform even worse actions. First, I want to go over some of the reasons why many students are facing academic burnout. First is the workload. One issue I noticed in college is that many professors do not care about your schedule in other classes. This can lead to weeks where you have a large amount of work and no time to relax. Some people might blame this on poor time management, but often the release of assignments is completely out of your control. Balancing this large amount of work on top of internships, clubs, and jobs can lead students to feel largely burnt out with their academic careers. There is also not a lot of downtime in many students' lives due to the age of the internet. Nowadays, classes continue far outside of the scheduled times because of emails and other forms of communication. There's also the financial stress that college can place on students' minds. Many have to take out large loans in order to attend college, and the pressure of having that debt looming over you can cause mental exhaustion and overworking. This debt can also force students to work part-time or even full-time jobs in order to start paying it back. Now I also want to discuss ways that you can counteract college burnout. One of the most important things you can do is something I mentioned in a previous video, which is to have a good social and academic life balance. It is important to set aside time to socialize with friends and engage in your hobbies. If you always set your mind in work mode, then burnout will end up blindsiding you sooner rather than later. If you have trouble with this, it is important to realize that we are not machines. Our bodies cannot stand to work 24/7. Leave the constant work to AI and machines and make sure you take breaks. The second tip is also extremely important, but possibly one of the hardest for college students. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of good sleep. Aim for the tried and true 7 to 9 hours. Some people claim that they can function well with under 7, but science states that less than 1% of people can actually achieve their full cognition with under 7 hours of sleep. I must admit I myself am guilty of getting less than the recommended amount of sleep, but my studying and mental fatigue suffered as a result. Now I want to discuss meals. What you put in your body is what will determine the baseline for your health. If you eat junk, you will feel like junk. I have a personal anecdote about this that I think is pretty funny, but also a very valuable lesson. One week I felt extremely lazy. I didn't have a lot of work. One of my classes got canceled, so I was just sitting on the couch, lazing away. Well, I decided that it would be a great idea to eat instant ramen for 2 meals every day. I know, I'm a genius. I went out of my room to play some pool with some of my friends, and I ended up passing out for a couple of seconds. 1 second I was walking, the next I was on the ground. Turns out all that sodium ain't good for you. Now obviously my case is an extreme example, and I hope most don't go as overboard as I did, but it goes to show just how important proper eating habits are. I want to wrap up by giving my final tip to avoid burnout, and that is to remind yourself of your goals. Why are you at college? Maybe you're trying to go into a field that you are passionate about. Is burning out and becoming sick of the field worth it? Will that extra class or stress caused by overworking be the deciding factor in whether or not you get your degree? If the answer to that is no, then maybe it becomes more important to focus on avoiding burnout. I hope my tips help you with your college success. Take care of yourself, stay connected, and don't lose sight of why you're here. Thanks for watching.